Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This is your host Ram, welcoming you to your Sunday edition of the Cricket Happening Show. And on this show, I'm going to talk about Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh. So, Sri Lanka today, as I was telling you yesterday, that it has been almost 44 months since Sri Lanka have won ODI series at home, but today they broke that hoodoo as they went on to win the ODI series, which is a three-match ODI series, and Sri Lanka won the game by 7 wickets. Sri Lanka winning a very convincing win at that. So I'm going to talk about that, and then we'll also have, as you know, I am broadcasting here from my studios here in Toronto, and being broadcasting from Toronto in Canada. The matches, there is a global T20 cricket tournament right now going on in Canada, in Toronto, and I'll be just briefly dwelling on that as well. Right now, as I am talking to you, I'm really watching a match which is going on right now between the Winnipeg Hawks, where Chris Len is smashing it all across the park. He has been in prolific touch, one could say. Dominion, on the other hand, is also really punishing the bowler. So we'll come back to that later. But the main focus would be the second one-day international, which was a day-night encounter, which was played between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka in Colombo. So let's have a look at let's look at the performance of both the teams here. So Bangladesh were the ones who actually batted first, and definitely one thing is really known here is the fact that Shakib Hassan is being sorely missed. He was the one who was in some tremendous nick in the World Cup, as you would all know, but that has been something really missing in this Bangladesh squad. So if you look at it, I mean, one thought that probably Bangladesh would be quite relieved that the main person or the main pace spearhead of Sri Lanka, Lasith Malinga, has already retired from cricket, as you all know, in the last game. And one thought that probably Bangladesh would be breathing free and they would be putting a huge total on the board, but it was not to be. In fact, if you look at the board there, it all started off with Tamim Iqbal and Soumya Sarkar opening the innings, and in 5.4 overs, the score has reached 26. And Tamim Iqbal, the other day we saw how he was out to that special toe crusher from Lasith Malinga. But today, Soumya Sarkar was the first to go. Now this was a full toss. I mean, a dismissal that Soumya Sarkar would definitely rue because Nuwan Pradeep was bowling wide of the crease. It was a full toss which was slanting in, and Soumya Sarkar, it's a case of either you hit it, if you don't hit it, you miss it, and that's what precisely happened. As Soumya Sarkar would be really cursing himself as he was gone. LBW bowled Nuwan Pradeep for 11 of 13 deliveries, which included one boundary. Mohammad Mithun joined Tamim Iqbal at that stage. Tamim Iqbal had hit 2 boundaries in a knock of 19 of 31 deliveries, and this was Tamim getting a ball which was short and wide outside the off stump, and Tamim was drawn to the stroke there, and as he tried to play the ball, he chopped the ball onto his stumps, and Tamim Iqbal was gone bowled by Udana for 19 of 31 deliveries, 2 boundaries, 31 for 2, Bangladesh in the 9th over. Now, Mohammad Mithun was joined in by the most consistent player, Mushfiqur Rahim. Mohammad Mithun, and we also saw that this particular pitch definitely afforded a lot of turn for the spinners. And they had one of the main spinners, Akila Dhananjaya, the left arm spinner, and he was the one who actually sent Mohammad Mithun on his way. This was a ball which was nicely tossed up outside the off stump, and the ball turned, and before even Mithun actually the ball actually turned, which probably took Mithun by surprise, and the ball popped up in the air, and Kushal Mendes at mid-wicket held the catch. So Mohammad Mithun gone. Bangladesh was 52 for 3 in the 15th over. After that, at that time, definitely it was a very shaky situation for Bangladesh. Mushfiqur Rahim was staying at the crease, but now the person who was walking in was Mahmudullah, and there would have been a lot of hopes on Mahmudullah. But as I said, this was a real disappointment for Bangladesh, as Akila Dhananjaya. Now this was, as I said, the ball was turning. So when you're playing playing on a pitch which is actually turning, and the cut shot is not the very good shot unless you are very sure about really cutting the ball. This was a ball which was on a flatter trajectory, and the ball spun back, and to the utter chagrin of Mahmudullah, it was all over. He had actually, the ball had gone and turned, and it was all over. Mahmudullah was clean bowled by Dhananjaya for 6 after 18 deliveries. So that made it 68 for 4, and things were getting much tougher with only Mushfiqur Rahim at the crease. And Bangladesh definitely had no respite there. Sabir Rahman, in the confusion, getting run out by a De Silva Pereira combination. He was short of the ground. In fact, he pushed the ball towards the point region. He went for a non-existent run. Mushfiqur at the non-striker was definitely saying a defiant no there, but the fielder flump slip. It was De Silva, I think, who was herring onto the ball, and he just threw the ball, and keeper actually collected it, and he actually put the stumps off, and again Bangladesh slipped into a very sorry situation at 88 for 5 in the 25th over. Mosaddaq Hussain walked in, but Mosaddaq Hussain did not last long. He was caught by Pereira off the bowling of Isuru Udana, the left arm pacer, as this one from Isuru Udana had some extra bounce onto it. It was a slower ball, but as you know, nowadays with a lot of T20 cricket being played, the bowlers have a lot of weapons in their arsenal, and this was one of them, probably a slower bouncer, and that really did him in. Mosaddaq Hussain was goner. Caught Pereira bowled Udana 13 of 27 deliveries, and the score at 117 for 6 in the 32nd over. Mehdi Hassan Miraz walked in. Now this was the time where Bangladesh were really in a sort of I would say they were in great strife with the score on 117 for 6 in the 32nd over. Mehdi Hassan Miraz walked in, and Mehdi Hassan Miraz had the company. But the good thing was for Bangladesh was that Mushfiqur Rahim was well entrenched at the crease, and that really helped matters. But Mehdi Hassan Miraz, who definitely is no rabbit at the bat, definitely showed he could. One knows that he has already played a lot of good innings, and today that really came in handy, as Mehdi Hassan Miraz decided to adopt the aggressive route towards the Sri Lankan bowlers by hitting 6 boundaries in a very good knock, which he played 43, and that was the thing which really gave some respectability to the Bangladesh total. It was an 84-run partnership that happened between Mushfiqur Rahim and the other batsman, Mehdi Hassan Miraz, which took the score to past the 200 mark, which gave them some respectability. But then Mehdi Hassan Miraz then finally fell to the bowling of Nuwan Pradeep. It was a leg cutter, and Mehdi Hassan tried to have a big hit at that, and in the process, Dimut Karnaratne holding the catch. So he was gone, but a good innings from from Matthews and Raz under the circumstances. He was out for 43 or 49, 6 boundaries. After that, it was a quick wrap-up, 201 in the 46th over, and finally it all came to an end. Tajul Islam got himself run out for 3, Mustafizur Rahman was not out in 2, and Mushfiqur Rahim, very unfortunately, was left high and dry, not out on 98 of 110 balls, 6 fours and 1 6. He really chiseled together a very good knock, but unfortunately he could not reach his century. And that was the end of the Bangladesh innings after the 50 overs. They finished off at 238 for 8. Now looking at the bowling card from the Sri Lankan point of view, Dhananjay De Silva, 10 overs no maiden, none for 39. Nuwan Pradeep, 10 overs no maiden, 2 for 53. Isuru Udana, 10 overs no maiden, 2 for 58 to Isuru Udana. Lairu Kumara, 10 overs none maiden, none for 42. And Akila Dhananjaya, the pick of the bowlers, 10 overs no maiden, 2 for 39. So now Sri Lankans were given a target of 239 runs to win from 50 overs. The openers, Avishka Fernando and Dimut Karnaratne, opened the innings. And Dimut Karnaratne was sent back early, but not before the fireworks coming from this very, very talented batsman, none other than Avishka Fernando. We saw him in the World Cup. We had a real glimpse of him as to what a wonderful player he would be in the future for Sri Lanka. As Avishka Fernando, it's really, I can say that, is such an attractive player to watch, Avishka Fernando, when definitely he goes on to the back foot and punches the ball down the ground, or if he drives it with that sort of a soothing effect, one could say, the calmness that he displays at the crease, and sometimes he just dismisses the ball from its presence. As the score went on, Avishka Fernando started, one thing that I have to say here, just before I talk about Avishka Fernando's knock, is that the Bangladesh bowlers were definitely very, very guilty today of defending a very modest total. They definitely had to bowl a very disciplined line and length, but unfortunately that was not the case. They were spraying the ball in all the directions, which really gave a lot of leeway for the batsmen to really launch an attack on the Bangladeshi bowlers. Besides that, the shoddy fielding was something which really didn't help matters. In fact, they really caused themselves a lot of harm there. As Avishka Fernando and Dimut Karnaratne started the innings. So, but Avishka Fernando, as I said, he was going like a train, and he started unveiling those wonderful shots. As I said, he's an attractive player to watch, and he's one definitely penciled in for the future for Sri Lanka. And what an innings from Avishka Fernando. His driving was impeccable. As I said, going onto the back foot, driving down the ground was a sight to really behold. And the cuts that he was doing, and especially, that Fernando is very, very strong on the pull shot. One would still remember the shot that he played against England's Jofra Archer, sending him into the crowd. What a shot that was. Now, this is what the pull shot, you have to think twice before bowling to Avishka Fernando if it's a short delivery, because he would really take off like an aeroplane. So Avishka Fernando, what an innings from Avishka Fernando. A very attractive innings, and the Bangladesh bowlers absolutely had to suffer under the blade of Avishka Fernando. And only when the score reached, the score was 71, but the lion's share, obviously with Avishka Fernando. Karnaratne was definitely playing the sort of a really plodder there, as he had got 15 to his name of 29 deliveries with 1-4. And the spinner Mehdi Hassan Miraz was the one who picked up his wicket. Now, as you know, when I've seen that Dimut Karnaratne definitely gives room for himself and tries to definitely predominantly tries to play the ball through the offside. But I thought it was a very clever delivery from Mehdi Hassan Miraz. He actually pushed the ball through, and it actually deflected off the pad and went into the stumps. And the score, that was the first wicket that Bangladesh got. Karunaratne out, bowled by Mehdi Hassan Miraz for 15 of 29 deliveries with 1 4, 71 for 1 in the 11.3 overs. And then Kushal Pereira, the centurion in the first ODI, walked in as the bowlers. In fact, also let me tell you that Avishka Fernando hit a wonderful six of the bowling of Mustafizur Rahman. And Pereira, Kushal Pereira, actually played some very good strokes. He contributed 30 of 34 balls, but before that, Avishka Fernando, after doing all the good work with a score on 82 of 75 deliveries, which included 9 fours and 2 sixes, was walking back to the pavilion. This was Mustafizur Rahman bowling his usual cutters, where he actually rolls his fingers over the ball outside the off stump. The ball actually had about a bit of extra bounce. Definitely one can say that Avishka Fernando is a very good puller of the ball, but unfortunately the pull was the shot which actually did him in today. Unfortunately, he winded up and he actually spliced the ball into the air. Tamim at mid-on had to do a bit of running, which he did, and that was the end of Avishka Fernando. And then Kushal Pereira was the next one to go. Caught Soumya Sarkar, bowled Mustafizur Rahman for 30 of 34 deliveries, which included 3 boundaries. It was a full ball which was outside the off stump, and that was the 3rd wicket. Now Bangladesh at that stage was nothing to worry about. They were 146 for 3 at that stage, with the early impetus given by Avishka Fernando. 146 for 3 at the halfway mark at the 25th over. They still had 25 overs to go, so there was nothing to really worry. Probably not even 100 runs to get in the balance overs. And well, that was the experienced captain, the former experienced captain Angelo Matthews was there at the crease to nurture them to victory. Kushal Mendes was the other one who was definitely one is sure that Angelo Matthews would have definitely guided Kushal Mendes, telling him not to really get into his natural aggressive self, but to really pay some attention and wait for the loose ball, and that's what precisely happened. And that was the end of the match. 242 for 3 was what Sri Lanka made. Sri Lanka winning the match by 7 wickets. As I said, it has been a long time coming. They would be heaving a sigh of relief that after 44 months, Sri Lanka have managed to get their first ODI series at home. So Kushal Mendes was not out on 41 of 74 deliveries, which included 4 boundaries. Angelo Matthews was not out on 52 as the winning hit came that brought up Angelo Matthews 50. Not out on 52 of 57 deliveries, 7 fours, 7 wicket victory. As I already told you, Bangladesh, defending such a big, small total, they could have definitely bowled much better lines and lengths here. But let's have a look at the bowling card from the Bangladeshis. Mehdi Hassan Miraz, 10 overs no maiden, 1 for 51. Shafiul Islam, 5 overs, went for 29. Taijul Islam, pick of the bowlers, 10 overs no maidens, none for 35. Mustafizur Rahman went to the cleaners, 8 overs, none for 50. 2 wickets for 50. Mustard Hussain, 7 overs, none for 32. Sabir Rahman, 2.4 overs, no maiden, none for 20. And Soumya Sarkar, 2 overs, no maiden, none for 16. So Avishka Fernando very rightly got the man of the match award, and as I said, for Sri Lanka it would be a great sigh of relief as they won this particular victory. So that's the end of the so not the end of the series. There's one more match to come. Being this a 3-match series, Sri Lanka have already wrapped it up. So as I'm talking to you here, as you know, I'm actually broadcasting this from my studios here in Toronto, in Canada, and we are looking at a match right now. So the global T20 tournament right now is underway at the CAA Centre in Brampton. And yesterday we saw a wonderful match that happened where the home team, Brampton Wolves, really showed why they have been given. As you know, Brampton Wolves are they are playing in this is the second season of the Global T20 tournament in Canada, and they are actually playing for the second time. I mean, Brampton Wolves is a new team which has been included in the mix in this particular tournament. That is we call it the Global T20, which is in its second season. Now, if you look at the card there was a match which was being played yesterday. Montreal Tigers were taking on the Brampton Wolves, who were playing their first game. The Montreal Tigers were really easy fodder for Brampton Wolves bowlers, as the Montreal Tigers were bowled out for 101. Kyle Quetzer, the principal scorer, 26 of 18 deliveries, and Bhupinder Singh, 19 of 26 deliveries. Rohan Mustafa had 2 wickets for 9 runs. The leg spinner Ish Sodhi returning magnificent bowling figures in T20 cricket. Ish Sodhi, the right arm leg spinner from New Zealand, he took 5 wickets for 8 runs. But just hear this: 101 runs in 18.2 overs. Brampton Wolves smashed the target in just 6.4 overs. This was a phenomenal hitting by both of them, especially George Munsey. George Munsey smashed 63 of 24 deliveries. I'll give you the breakup of that particular innings from Munsey. Munsey really smashed it all across the park. Lendl Simmons was 37 of 16. Game over. Brampton Wolves totally smashing the Montreal Tigers. In 6.4 overs, they get to the target of 102, and that was simply brilliant hitting from George Munsey. So let's have a look at George Munsey and have a look at how many boundaries and sixes Munsey hit. Munsey hit some tremendous sixes, let me tell you that. So, but this was something which was serious stuff according to me, because Brampton Wolves, as I said, this is the first time they're playing. The game is being held in Brampton, and the Brampton Wolves have smashed it. 15.3. They went at a rate of 15.3 runs per over. Now let's have a look at the bowling figures from the Montreal Tigers, where Munsey actually carted those sixes that I was talking about. This was a game that happened yesterday. Munsey was not out on 63 of 24 deliveries, which included 6 sixes and 5 boundaries. Lendl Simmons was not out on 37 of 16 deliveries, which included 6 sixes. Phenomenal hitting by the Brampton Wolves batsmen, opening batsmen. And the damage they did to the bowlers was like this. Mohammad Naveed, 2 overs for 22 runs. Sunil Nareen, 2 overs, 22 runs. Sean Abbott, 2 overs, none for 37. Fawad Ahmed just bowled 4 balls. This was the last over, where actually Brampton Wolves went to that victory. Fawad Ahmed was hit for 3 consecutive sixes by Munsey, and then finally finished it off, and that was the end of the match at the CAA Centre in Brampton, where Brampton Wolves, playing their first game, really living up to that name of Brampton Wolves. And right now, as I am talking to you, I can give you a live cricket update here. The live cricket update here coming in is a game which is being played right now at the CAA Centre in Brampton, where Winnipeg Hawks are playing right now. Definitely one can say that the other team is on the verge. Winnipeg Hawks are 197 for 3. They're chasing around, I reckon it's probably a 212. I'm just going to leave you with this very quick cricket update, which is coming in from the CAA Centre here in Brampton, in Toronto, in Canada. I'm just getting on to that right now. Yes, it was the Vancouver Knights, the defending champions, making 208 for 5, batting first, with Chris Gale, Walton playing a good hand. But right now, I can tell you the Winnipeg Hawks are just requiring 6 runs. So let me complete this. Let's see whether Dwayne Bravo, who has really hit the ball in a mighty fashion, can finish it off as I end this daily cricket show of mine. So I'm just waiting to see whether Bravo can end this with a 6. Exactly 6 runs needed right now, and they have 31 balls. So will this be a 6 from Dwayne Bravo? Not. Probably I might have to leave you, dear fans and friends and subscribers. It was a pleasure bringing you this daily cricket show today. Hope you all loved it. Well, if at all you're in Toronto in Canada, well, walk into the CAA Centre in Brampton and go and watch the global T20 tournament. Having said this, it's about time for me to finally sign off this on this cricket show. Thank you.